Do you ever have one of those experiences where you realize, oh my God, time just flies by? Well, I was at Best Buy yesterday, and I took a look at a couple of things, and one of them uh, really brought that sentiment home for me. I finally got some hands-on time with the Blackberry Key2 LE. So what did I think of it? Well, it felt very solid in the hand. I thought it was really built well. It was comfortable. It was, well, like I said, it was built well. It felt solid. For what it was, it had a good screen. ZoomText security features are comprehensive. You had the ability to set every single app on the device to sensitive security permissions. You had a BlackBerry search, which was BlackBerry's. I look at it as BlackBerry's answer to Spotlight. The BlackBerry Locker being similar to Samsung Knox. However, and this is where like 10 years just sort of like blew by me. I just you're not going to believe this. I've completely forgotten how to type on one of these itsy bitsy little thumb keyboards. I was slow as molasses, and then for those of you who cannot see, you've got a number pad going along WER, SDF, and ZX and C keys, as well as the microphone voice command key next to the space bar. And if I was in anything other than a number area, I couldn't figure out how to type numbers. I just couldn't. I couldn't figure out how to type numbers if I was in anything other than a dedicated number field. 10 years really changed things. It was just incredible how much, you know, if you've been typing on glass for 10 years, going back to typing on a physical keyboard is just which is interesting because 10 years ago I could really fly on those, and now nope. I've gone back to the hunt and peck typist. Another thing that I looked at was the 11-inch 2018 iPad Pro. That device is just awesome. For the size, I was very surprised by the quality of the speakers, the audio. You can actually use your Apple Pencil for basic voiceover navigation procedures. Because of the overall weight of the 11-inch, the thing felt feather-light, practically weightless in my hands. It was a joy to hold on to. It kind of reminded me of the very first iPad back in 2010, but at the same time, I could tell it was a far more advanced product than that original iPad. Whether it be the iPhone XR or the iPad Pro, emoji is just as awesome. In fact, in a way, it's even more awesome on the iPad Pro because I can see it better. It's just incredible. Lots of fun. I swear, it never gets old, no matter how many times I play with it. The Smart Keyboard Folio. The demonstration unit was mounted to a keyboard folio. And with the folio on the device, it still felt considerably lighter than my first generation 12.9-inch iPad Pro. A couple of interesting quirks. I was well aware that the Face ID, the device had to be in portrait mode to set it up. I didn't realize it had to be in portrait mode right side up. You can't set it up upside down. And this happens to be a bit of a quirk with VoiceOver. I don't know if it was this specific unit, but I couldn't get the home and app switch gestures to function properly in portrait mode. I don't know if I was just not hitting it in the right place or what and all, but something was going on there. But overall, I think that the iPad Pro is definitely worth considering as an alternative to a laptop for anybody that doesn't need absolutely demanding pieces of hardware and software, or people that don't necessarily need unique accessibility software that iOS doesn't yet support. For those that are considering going back to the PC, such as myself, in place of getting another Mac, one of these systems you might want to look at is what I had a chance to look at, the Lenovo Thinkpad Yoga 2018. This thing felt substantial. It was built like a tank. I picked it up and I could tell that this thing was going to last. It was a typical Windows 10 professional install. I didn't really notice anything out of the ordinary. One of the things that they did do, which I really, really appreciate, is down here in the taskbar. Oh, it's not on this one, but they had a green battery indicator, which I really, really liked. One of the things I also really, really liked was the track point. For those of you who do not know, ThinkPads of old used to have this little red nub sitting in between the G and the H keys, just above the B and the N key. That was your mouse, okay? Computers didn't have trackpads as such, especially in the 80s and early 90s. So you would have either a trackball or IBM's solution, because IBM were the original purveyors of the ThinkPad before Lenovo bought that division of IBM out. And so what they did for their mouse was they had this little red nub, and it's like a joystick. I love that because there are no borders to worry about. You send your mouse in a single direction, and it's going to keep going and going until it hits the border of your screen. There's no repeated gesture swiping across because of borders of a trackpad. Now, if you really want to use the trackpad, this computer does indeed have a trackpad. It's got a fingerprint sensor. It's got all the typical ThinkPad trademark features that make the ThinkPad so powerful and wonderful. One of the things that I noted, like I said, love the track point. 256 gig i5 with 8 gigs. That was the demonstration unit. Now, I mentioned here that this didn't have a Think shutter. And what that is a physical switch that covers the camera. See right here? It doesn't have a Think shutter. That, for me, was a bit of a deal breaker because if I do get a ThinkPad, I would like to have that, especially if I just want to do like an audio recording and I don't want my camera enabled, and yet, like if I ever had to use a piece of video editing software to capture something, but I only wanted to capture the audio and I was just going to take the video out, or if there's a time that you'd prefer to keep your privacy intact, then the Think shutter is definitely worth a look. And this Yoga ThinkPad unfortunately did not have it. And the only other thing about it was I couldn't tell if there was a USB Type-C charging port. I didn't really get a good look at the ports on the device, so I genuinely could not tell if there was a port or not. So out of all of these three, I would have to say that my favorite device is actually the iPad Pro. No, it cannot run SPSS. No, it cannot run ZoomText. But if your needs are very basic and you're willing to get by with basic magnification, and you can use software such as CAPD, KNFB Reader, other similar apps, you're willing to work with the VoiceOver and the VoiceOver cursor. You could use VoiceOver and Zoom at the same time. Now, I personally haven't tried that yet because I haven't yet tried it in full screen mode, which I intend to do. I definitely intend to give that a shot. But if your needs are primarily basic, like towards the end of the semester, I was writing all of my notes in Pages and sending it up to iCloud and was able to edit them further on my Mac. If that's all you're worried about, then by all means, go ahead with the 11-inch or even the 10.5-inch iPad Pro, okay? Because that's even cheaper and that'll fulfill your needs. Me personally, I just love the 11-inch. Definitely keeping it on my radar. Now, that's not to say I will actually be getting it, but it's on my bucket list. It's on my list of choices. The Blackberry Key2 LE reminded me of a bygone era that will never come again. I think that, with the exception of a fan base of that phone, I don't see, as we go forward and we have natives that are born into this society as touch natives, I think that eventually physical keyboards, at least on mobile devices, are going to become a thing of the past. They're still going to be needed, obviously, on things like your traditional laptop, your ThinkPads, your Asus, VivoBooks, what have you, and obviously on your desktops, because the touch experience in that regard is not suitable. It's not suitable at all. But I think for mobile devices, I think for as future generations come along, I don't know if we're going to be teaching them to type on physical keyboards or not. We might. We very much might. And to be honest, I hope that we still continue to do so. But I still am wondering about that, because if people are born into this culture of nothing but touch screens, what's that? I wonder what that's going to look like for our society. I'm old. What do you guys think? Thank you for watching. Comments are welcome, and have a nice day.